Cars Review brings you a story that's raising serious questions across the British auto industry. Some of Britain's most iconic car brands are facing the biggest test in decades. By the end of this countdown, you might be surprised by which name experts believe is under the most pressure. Today, we're counting down 6 brands under pressure and the situation surrounding. Number 1 has sparked intense debate among industry watchers. Stay until the end, because this isn't just about declining sales. It's about whether these legendary brands can reinvent themselves for a new automotive era. Let's start with number 6, Vauxhall. Once one of the most recognizable names on British roads, Vauxhall is navigating a difficult transition under Stellantis. Here's a number that stopped a lot of people cold. Vauxhall's Luton van plant, a site that had built vehicles for 119 years, closed in 2025, putting around 1,100 jobs at risk. The company cited stricter UK electric vehicle sales targets as part of the reason as affordable EVs from global manufacturers gain ground. Vauxhall is under increasing pressure to strengthen its lineup and maintain its position. Industry analysts continue to debate what the long-term future of the Vauxhall brand will look like within the Stellantis group. But Vauxhall's problems are minor compared to what's happening next. Number 5 is Lotus. The legendary British sports car maker is now majority owned by Geely, and its transformation has divided opinion among enthusiasts. In 2025, Lotus's own sales figures showed first quarter volumes dropping by more than 50% year over year, and production at its historic Hethel plant in Norfolk was paused for months. While the company dealt with new U.S. tariffs on its vehicles, Lotus has publicly denied any plans to close the factory, but reports of a review into its future have raised real concern among fans about how much longer that site will remain central to the brand. Many are questioning how Lotus will balance its British heritage with its global ambitions. If you think that's concerning, wait until you hear about number 4. Number 4 is MG. Although the brand has British roots, it has been owned by SAIC Motor for years. And here's the twist: MG is actually one of Europe's fastest-growing brands, hitting a record 85,000 UK registrations in 2025. But that success brought a new problem. The EU hit SAC with an extra tariff of over 35% on its electric vehicles, on top of the standard rate, forcing MG to lean harder into hybrids just to stay competitive. MG is growing faster than ever, but if trade barriers continue to rise, even one of Europe's biggest success stories could face a much tougher road ahead. Before we reveal number 3, let me ask you this. Which British car brand do you think faces the biggest challenge over the next few years? Leave your prediction in the comments, because number 1 is the most controversial name on this entire list. If you thought MG's tariff troubles were dramatic, wait until you hear what happened to number 3 on this list. Number 3 is Jaguar. This story sparked widespread concern across the British auto industry. In late August 2025, Jaguar Land Rover was reportedly hit by a significant cyber incident that disrupted production across parts of its operations. Some industry reports estimated that the disruption could have resulted in losses reaching into the billions of pounds. Although the full financial impact remains difficult to verify, production at JLR's major UK plants stayed offline for roughly 5 weeks, and the ripple effects hit nearly 5,000 businesses across the supply chain, many of them small suppliers who depend entirely on Jaguar's daily build rate to survive. Reports suggested government support measures were considered to help stabilize affected suppliers, highlighting the scale of concern surrounding the disruption. JLR directly employs around 34,000 people in the UK, with another 120,000 jobs supported through its supply chain, which is exactly why this incident became a national economic story, not just a corporate one. Combined with Jaguar's heavily debated brand transformation, the company suddenly found itself facing reputational, financial, and cybersecurity challenges all at once. Now here's something worth thinking about. Unlike the challenges facing some of the other brands on this list, this wasn't primarily about changing consumer demand or the transition to electric vehicles. It showed how a single cyber incident could disrupt manufacturing on a massive scale and reignited debate about the resilience of Britain's automotive industry. If a single cyber attack can disrupt one of Britain's biggest car makers, what does that say about the future of modern manufacturing? Share your thoughts in the comments. But despite everything Jaguar has faced, number 2 may be under even greater long-term pressure. Its challenges have been building for years, and many enthusiasts fear its future is becoming increasingly uncertain. This is one of Britain's most beloved automotive names, and its story may be the most emotional chapter in this entire countdown. Number 2 is one of the most iconic names in British luxury performance, a brand whose legacy spans more than a century. But today its biggest challenge isn't building world-class sports cars. It's restoring financial stability. Number 2 is Aston Martin. Aston Martin is one of Britain's most celebrated automotive brands, famous for its handcrafted sports cars and its long association with James Bond. In 2025, the company reported a net loss of roughly £493 million, a sharp increase from the year before. Here's what really stands out. By the end of 2025, Aston Martin's debt had risen to around £1.4 billion, while the company had issued multiple profit warnings in just 18 months. To reduce costs, Aston Martin announced plans to cut around 20% of its global workforce, roughly 600 jobs, while also reducing planned capital spending. But Aston Martin's difficulties don't stop at the balance sheet. Company executives have blamed several factors, including U.S. tariffs, weaker demand in China, and delays to high-margin models such as the Vauxhall, all of which have weighed on profitability. Although new financing secured in 2026 helped strengthen liquidity and deliveries of the Vauxhall showed signs of improvement, many analysts remain cautious. Questions about refinancing terms and the company's long-term financial position continue to fuel speculation about its future ownership, though no changes have been confirmed. Unlike several other brands on this list, Aston Martin has survived repeated financial crises before. Since going public in 2018, the company has undergone multiple restructurings, repeatedly finding ways to keep moving forward. Whether history repeats itself remains an open question. Do you think a legendary brand like Aston Martin can overcome financial pressure through innovation and heritage alone? Or does every company eventually reach a breaking point? Share your thoughts below. And now we've reached number 1, the British car brand that generated the most debate during our research. It's a name almost everyone recognizes, but the reasons it's at the top of this list may not be what you expect. Here it is, number 1, the brand that generated the most debate during our research for this video. Number 1 is McLaren. Yes, the legendary Woking-based supercar maker, the name behind some of the most celebrated race cars and road cars in British history. Here's the part that surprises a lot of people. Bahrain's sovereign wealth fund, Mumtalakat, had already been McLaren's largest shareholder for years, and it has since expanded its ownership stake in the wider McLaren Group. That means one of Britain's most iconic automotive brands is now backed primarily by overseas investment, highlighting how global ownership has become a defining feature of the modern auto industry. To understand how McLaren got here, it helps to look back. Since around 2020, the company has faced repeated financial strain. It laid off employees, saw disruptions to production at points, and sold off its own headquarters. The McLaren Technology Center, along with parts of its private heritage car collection, to help fund the development of newer models like the Artura. The company has also pursued additional funding and restructuring efforts over several years as it worked to strengthen its balance sheet and support future product development. Interestingly, this isn't a story of total decline. While McLaren racing has enjoyed a remarkable revival, including consecutive Formula One Constructors' Championships, the automotive business has continued to depend on external investment to support its long-term strategy. That contrast makes McLaren's story unique among the brands on this list. McLaren tops this list not because it's disappearing, but because its journey shows how even one of Britain's greatest automotive success stories has relied heavily on international investment to secure its future. So out of all 6 brands we've covered, Vauxhall, Lotus, MG, Jaguar, Aston Martin, and now McLaren, which one do you think is genuinely best positioned to come out of 2026 stronger And which one worries you the most? Let us know in the comments, because it's a question that continues to spark debate among enthusiasts and industry observers alike. If you enjoyed this countdown, hit subscribe for more deep dives into the biggest stories shaping the future of the automotive world, and we'll see you in the next one. This has been Cars Review. Thanks for watching.